have a few stories I can tell about some of the children that I worked with over the years and how they benefited from Estrellita. At one point in my career, the 6th grade teacher came to me, bilingual 6th grade teacher, and she said she had a brand new student. He was a 6th grader and he couldn't read. He'd been through our system, he'd transferred in from another district. He'd been in the country since kindergarten, but had slipped through the cracks and had never learned to read. So I said, send him to me, I'll teach him to read. So she sent him to me. I assessed him real quickly. He knew all the letter names. He knew most of the sounds and most of the letter names. He didn't know any syllables, either mami, mi, mo, mu, or the Estrellita method of teaching the syllables. So I basically, we used the sonidos iniciales as a springboard. I worked with him over recess and I showed him how to blend 2 letters together to form the sílabas con A, which he immediately picked up. Being that I had my own class to work with, I had to work with him during recesses. So he would come over at recess, and in about 2 weeks, he basically had broken the code. I did sílabas with him. He caught on really quickly to that. He was a 6th grader, he was smart, he had just fallen through the cracks. And after we did the syllables, then I showed him how to blend the syllables together to form words. I gave him the palabras books to read, or the palabras con A book, and then I showed him oraciones. I gave him that to read. We arranged with his teacher to have a student buddy come over with him, and then that student buddy would listen to him as he read his book. So that was providing the practice for him to read. And he was really excited. After a couple weeks, he had more or less gone through the Estrellita program and was reading. Even though it was at a beginning level, he was still reading. And much later, he told me that when I told him I was going to teach him to read, he didn't believe me, because he said so many people throughout his educational career had told him they were going to teach him to read, and they never did. So he really didn't believe it until it actually happened. But that was just a beautiful thing to see that process happen. Anyway, in working with Jose, I got to know his whole family. He lived close by the school, and I went over to his house a number of times. I met his parents, I met his brothers and sisters, and it turns out that neither of his parents knew how to read. They both worked out picking in the fields, very, very hard workers. And the following year, I got Jose's little brother, Augustin, in my class, and as a 1st grader, and I worked with Augustin. And his mother she wanted to read so badly that the little cassette tape, back then it was a cassette tape that we had, of the sonidos iniciales being chanted. So she would put the cassette tape on while she was cooking dinner and listen to the chant and chant along with it. So I kind of worked with her in the sense that every time I would send home new material with Augustin, I would let her know that she could work with him and she could learn that same material. And I was just so impressed with what she did. She had 6 kids and she was pregnant with the 7th child. Both she and her husband worked in the field. They worked long, hard, arduous hours in the field, but it was she who came home and sat with Augustin and did his homework with him, because she had that burning desire to learn to read herself, which she did. She eventually learned to read right along with her son. And once Augustin had finished Estrellita and was in our core reading program, I would send those books home and she would work with him at home as well and learn to read.